Hey, and welcome to this Freaky Friday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. We'll come to you today as we do every single day, noon to 2 Eastern, from the Question Tequila Studios in downtown New York. Lots of breaking news, big news on the global stage, affecting the markets already. The Dow was down as much as 400 this morning. It's in a little bit of a recovery mode, down 200 right now. We'll keep you posted on that. This is all in response to these geopolitical fears involving the death of the number 2 most powerful man in Iran. And to break that all down and bring us up to speed on the breaking news, my co-host, managing editor, Frank Morano.
Well, hello there, John.
Usual.
We are going to be all over this Iran situation. Now, if you're just learning about this, the Iraqi prime minister is calling on parliament in Iraq to convene a special session over the Soleimani assassination. We're going to have folks coming up in a few minutes on both sides of the issue. Democrats are questioning President Trump's decision to kill the Iranian general. We're going to have Dan Kovalik, who thinks this was a big mistake, and we're going to have Jeffrey Lichtman, who thinks that this is 1,000 times more significant than what happened to Osama bin Laden. John McDonough is going to be here as well. We'll get his take on it in a nutshell, too. So
let me get this straight, okay? You would think, once again, we saw, this is like a replay, folks. Just about a month or so back, we got Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the number 1 most wanted terrorist, and the Democrats were so infuriated, okay? Now today, we have Iranian General, say it for me, Frankie, Qasem Soleimani.
I just call him General.
Qasem
I don't have to worry about calling him
Soleimani,
anything now.
who is the number 2 most powerful man in Iran, okay, brings across the Mideast. He's the guy who goes out and does all the operational planning, gets them extra fighters, gets them equipment for Hamas, Hezbollah. He's also been argued to have taken out some ISIS, which helped us, but not to help us. Their rallying cry when they go around the world is death to America. And to me, it's the craziest thing, because instead of, they used to Barack Obama and folks sending over $150 billion worth of cash on pallets. And now this guy Soleimani, okay, he was caught on videotape in front of the U.S. Embassy where Iranian-backed forces, he's a general of the Quds, and they bring these proxy fighters in to cause trouble. They attack the U.S. Embassy, and he was seen at the embassy. Now he's trying to hightail it out of town while he's planning another follow-up attack. And Trump says, nah, we're not going to send you $150 billion. We're going to send a Tomahawk into your car while you try to get to the airport, and you're gone. And I know you don't love this, Frankie, but it's a whole different tact that we're taking. We're not sending cash anymore. We're taking out your top generals who are killing Americans and others all across the Mideast.
Well, it's funny. Can we put up the tweet that President Trump tweeted back in 2011 with respect to what he thought was going to happen in Iran? This is from 7 or 8 years ago. This is from November 29, 2011. In order to get elected, Barack Obama will start a war with Iran. Now, that's from 8 years ago. Now, we essentially yesterday just did exactly that.
Well, I don't think we started a war with Iran.
When you assassinate a foreign leader, this would be the equivalent of killing our Secretary of State or the head of the Joint Chiefs for us. When you assassinate a foreign leader of a sovereign country, not al-Baghdadi, who is the head of a terrorist organization, but of a sovereign country without a congressional approval especially, that is absolutely an act of war. So I think you're going to see Iran, they're not just going to sit back and take this. The
I think they are. I think they don't know what to do right now.
The Ayatollah is already guaranteeing there's going to be retaliation. So
what are they going to do?
Well, number one, I think it's bad news for, there are tens of thousands of U.S. troops that are in the Middle East right now. Number two, I think you're looking at cyber attacks all over the United States.
So you think, or at least you are part of a group that thinks
that... Well, I don't think. Real experts think that.
I'm saying,
yes.
but you
I'll go
also
with
think
the experts,
that this is
like
going to
Colonel
draw
Daniel Davis.
Some retaliation from Iran. You think a person who we know just participated in an attack on the U.S. embassy, which is, that's our sovereignty there, right? The embassy is sovereign U.S. property.
Correct.
And this guy led an attack and participated in an attack on it.
Right. In retaliation for a previous American attack.
That's right, which was in retaliation
This
for,
is,
so
it
this
just
is,
keeps, it's
right,
like the
so
lady who swallowed a fly. It just keeps bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's an escalation of events.
Certainly, yes.
And Mr. Rogers would say, hello, boys and girls. Let's do some vocabulary today. Today's talking point on the left for Nancy Pelosi and company and the left-wing media is escalation. This is a terrible escalation. No, this is Trump putting his foot down and saying, checkmate. What are they going to do now? Attack our power grid?
Right. Well, I think you've already seen an American military contractor killed in this proxy war.
That's what led to this.
Yeah. Well, then I think you're likely to see more American troops die.
Let me give you some good advice. Frank may be on to one thing. Iran can't do a darn thing to us, but they do have some smart people over there, a lot of them, and they are friends with China, who has a whole boatload of smart people there. And I'm sure they're going to go talk to their friends over in China and figure out some ways to retaliate using cyber attacks. I wouldn't be surprised about that. And just a word to the wise from Uncle JT here. Don't be surprised if in a few days you go and put your ATM thing in there and the ATM is down for a day or two and that causes civil unrest. So if I were you, I'd go to the bank this weekend, nice and nonchalant, and take out about 2 weeks worth of cash so that you could survive, pay some bills, get some food and everything, 2 weeks. Because Frankie might be right. One of the things they would do is try to do a cyber attack on us, and prepare yourself. We're going to hear all this saber rattling, but just fend for yourself. Have some cash on hand.
I think that strikes me as a pretty good strategy. And as I said, we're going to get into the Iran issue throughout the show. Jeffrey Lichtman is going to be here on the hawkish side. Dan Kovalik is going to be here on the dovish side, and we'll have all sorts of analysis. Rumor has it Derek Tobacco may be on the streets as well, asking
on the streets.
people about this.
Let's bring it back from Iran back to the U.S.
Right. Good news for you, if you're worried about cyber attacks, is that there are going to be fewer children to worry about cyber protecting, because, at least according to Axios today, we are in the midst in this country of a full-fledged baby bust. Axios reporting there are 1.1 million fewer children living in the United States today than at the start of the last decade. Now, even after a little bit of a decline in the 70s, when you had all the baby boomers age, children still made up 28% of the total 1980 population. In 2019, kids make up only 22% of the total population. And this is a trend that shows no signs of turning around, not only in the United States, but all of the Western European countries. So you're seeing Asia, the Middle East, Africa, continue to have children like crazy, but in the United States and in the West in general, we are in the midst of a full-fledged baby bust. Now, this presents all sorts of economic problems. For instance, remember how Social Security is paid. It's not paid for by money that you paid in. They tell you that, but that's not accurate. It's paid for by people that are paying into the system now. So with fewer younger workers and more retirees, it presents enormous problems for programs like Social Security and Medicaid. And with all the baby boomers and the folks a little older than them in the midst of aging and dying, they're going to be downsizing their homes or leaving it to their non-children. I think you could be looking at pretty significant concerns in the housing market as well. Yeah. That's to say nothing of the fact that, if we're really at war, in a cultural war with Islam or with these other cultures around the globe, and they're still reproducing rapidly, and the United States and Western Europe has stopped, well, they'll win that war without firing a shot eventually.
Right. Well, good point. So, and I'm sure there's a whole host of reasons.
So go out and impregnate somebody today. Do your part.
People are living longer, so there's this whole other case to be made that there's going to be more humans on Earth longer because health advances and medical advances, so people are living longer. So maybe in the grand scheme of things, there's some offset to that.
Oh, but it's the younger folks, the dwindling number of younger folks, that have to take care of these people that are living longer.
I understand.
The only reason in the last few years, the last 5 years precisely, that we haven't had negative population growth is because of immigration. Right. If we didn't have immigration,
and not only that, but these illegal immigrants, these illegal aliens, they're not necessarily reporting all these
Well,
perks.
no
So there's
kidding.
probably
Yeah.
a lot of those also.
Right.
Frank, one other thing.
One state that's done very well with children is Utah. So thank you to all the Mormons out there watching.
Right.
Yep.
One thing, a couple of last things I want to bring up before we get to this great show we got today with Jeffrey Lichtman, Jaden Horn, Johnny McDonough. Hidden in the news of killing the #2 most powerful man in Iran yesterday, Andrew McCabe, former acting director of the FBI, who, while investigating the whole Trump impeachment, the Trump and Mueller probe and all this other stuff, there was a leak in the Wall Street Journal in 2016 that Andrew McCabe led an investigation with his whole group, okay? And he told them, we need to find out who this leak is. And the whole FBI was trying to find the person in their midst that leaked to the Wall Street Journal. Lo and behold, it turns out, we find out yesterday from the New York Post and others, that Andrew McCabe lied. The acting director of the FBI had his whole team out there looking for the leaker when he knew all along he was the leaker. So he didn't lie to one agent. He lied to his whole agency to go find the leaker the whole time he knows he's the leaker.
This is really remarkable.
Bizarre.
So you have a guy. Now let's keep in mind this is a country which put Martha Stewart in jail for lying to federal investigators. This is a country that has just convicted Roger Stone for lying to Congress. This is a country which put Roger Clemens on trial for lying to federal investigators. Andrew McCabe, who was one of the top-ranking supervisory agents at the FBI.
Guy. When Comey got fired, he was the guy.
He is now admitting that he's essentially the white Tawana Brawley, a person who sparked this big investigation. Who done it? Who done it? Oh, well, it was me. So I think this is pretty serious here, and I hope that this is not allowed to go. He's not able to get away with just a slap on the wrist. Oh, you apologize for wasting federal taxpayer money and these agents' time. So agents had to investigate this. John.
One agent quoted in the story was the agent said, "I remember saying to him, sir, you understand we've put a lot of work into this based on what you told us. I even said, sir, long nights and weekends I spent working on this. Try to find out who amongst your ranks of trusted people would do something like that." McCabe looked down and nodded and said, yeah, I'm sorry. Any of us lied to one FBI agent, we would be indicted, we'd be in jail, and we'd be calling Jeffrey Lichtman right away to come get us out.
Well, with your budget, you would. I would have to.
Okay, but we'd still be locked up and thrown away.
I'd be calling
Throw
Matthew
away
Mary.
the key.
Yes.
McCabe said he was confused
Yeah.
when first questioned.
I'm confused.
I'm confused too. Is that a new defense for lying to the feds and causing an investigation?
Let's hope so.
Reported
For
by
our
the Post,
sake.
lying to the feds is a crime. McCabe has not been charged. I want to know why. I'm going to break that down and more right after this when we bring on criminal defense attorney and social critic, pro President Trump's attack on Iran, like me. Jeffrey Lichtman joins us right after this. You're watching Freaky Friday, Liquid Lunch.